10 most mysterious unknown water creatures. Number 10. The Afanc. The Afanc is a lake monster featured prominently in Welsh legend. Described as a creature that could take the form of a crocodile, a giant beaver, or even a dwarf. The Afanc is thought to prey on anybody who fell into or even risked to enter the water. One myth states that the thrashings of this beast are so violent that they once caused a massive flood, drowning everybody in Britain. Another more popular myth tells the tale of a maiden who was able to tame the Afanc by allowing it to fall asleep on her lap. Once it was sound asleep, she called upon the men in her village to capture it and place it in chains. However, the Afanc woke up and began a violent thrashing to struggle to get free, completely crushing the girl in this process. Other legends yet claim that King Arthur himself had slayed the Afanc, bringing an end to its reign of terror over the people of Britain. Number 9. The Isikun. Lurking in the depths of Kyushu's Lake Ikeda in Japan is a terrifying mythical beast known as the Isikun, or more simply, Isi. Lake Ikeda is the largest lake in Kyushu, despite being only 15 kilometers around and 233 meters deep. This caldera lake is home to several large creatures. Isi was first sighted in 1978 by a family who claimed to have seen several meters of black humps swimming through the water. Later, in 1978, a man named Toshiaki Matsuhara caught this monster on film. Since this film came out, the tourist authorities have publicized the Isi myth to attract more tourists to visit the area. There is now even a legend to explain how this was created. A white mare lived on the shores of Lake Ikeda with her foal, which ended up being captured by a samurai. The mare leapt into the lake in anguish and transformed into a huge water monster. Every now and then, she appears again in search of her lost foal. Number 8. The Abaya. The Abaya is a massive eel-like monster that is said to live on the bottom of freshwater lakes in Fiji and on the Vanuatu Islands. The myth says that the Abaya considers every creature in the lake to be its own child, and anyone who kills, harms, or even disturbs these creatures will be killed by the Abaya. In one of these legends, a man discovered a lake full of fish, but he was unaware that this vicious guardian was lurking on the bottom. He spent the day fishing and returned to his village with more fish than he'd ever captured before. The next day, he returned to the lake, bringing all the people from his village there, and all of them participated in fishing. A woman accidentally caught the Abaya on her hook, although it quickly managed to get free. The guardian was so angry that he retaliated by causing a heavy rainfall to fall that night, which flooded the village entirely, drowning everybody there except for one old woman that hadn't eaten any of the fish. Number 7. The Bunyip. Descriptions of this beast vary depending on who you ask, ranging from just slightly unusual to completely ridiculous. The first written accounts in newspapers describe it as having the head of a crocodile, the face of a dog, the tail of a horse, tusks, horns, flippers, and a thick coat of dark fur. The large monster lives in water and feasts on humans, especially women and young children. Anybody who walks too close to the edge of the lakes where it lives is at risk of being eaten. It's not even only Australian residents who claim to have seen the Bunyip. Foreigners and visitors to the land have described this beast as well. They talk of a creature that has features from land and water animals, with long claws and very strong hind legs. Some claim that it is a water spirit and it resembles a giant starfish. Others say it has an eye on its head and a large mouth on its stomach. Many Aboriginals of the area believe that the Bunyip is a protector spirit, punishing those who do evil. Drawings of the Bunyip have put a frightening face on the creature, although the image does seem to change a lot from one description to the next. Number 6. Iceland's worm monster. Iceland's worm monster is a lake monster said to dwell deep inside of Lake Lagerfjord. The first reported sighting of the worm monster was in 1345, and there have been many sightings, even well into the 21st century. One of the latest ones is a video released in 2012, which claims to show the monster swimming. Sightings of this beast are said to be a forecast for natural disasters and big events that are going to happen. This serpentine creature is said to be more than 91 meters long and maybe even longer. Some say it's as long as the lake itself that it resides in, clocking in at a whopping 30 kilometers. Number 5. The Sea Ningen. In recent years, there have been stories circulating throughout Japan about the existence of Arctic humanoid creatures living inside of the icy waters of the Antarctic Ocean. These so-called Ningen, which means human, are said to be 30 meters long and completely white, apparently having been seen by crew members and whale research ships. Those who have seen the creature describe it as having a human-like shape, often with arms and 5-fingered hands, and fins or a mermaid-like tail. According to one report, crew members saw what they first thought was a submarine in the distance. However, when they got closer, it became evident that this irregular shape was nothing man-made, and it was alive. As they approached it, the Ningen quickly jumped in, disappearing into the water. Their sightings have been occurring most frequently at night, which makes it very difficult to film or capture them accurately. In the images that have been taken, the monster looks a lot like ice, although it's said when you zoom in, you can see their smooth, human-like skin. Number 4. The Lake Tianchi monster. Lake Tianchi is the deepest lake located inside of this mountain. It's honored as being the largest caldera lake inside of China. For over a century here, there have been legends of a monster inhabiting the depths, lurking as much as 370 meters underneath the water of this lake. The first reported sighting was from 1903, and there have been more than 30 reported sightings in just the last 20 years, mostly from tourists in the area visiting Northeast Asia. There are many pictures and videos of this creature, but none of them are quite clear enough to get an idea of exactly what it looks like. Some have said that the creature has a dog-shaped body and is the size of a buffalo with a duckbill. Others have claimed that it has a square head, a single horn, a long hairy neck, and its body is covered in dragon scales. Until we do end up getting a clear picture of it, we're just going to have to guess what it might look like. Number 3. The Canvey Island Monster. The Canvey Island Monster is a creature whose body washed up on the Canvey Islands in 1953. The creature was about 76 centimeters long, had red-brown skin, gills, a large mouth full of sharp teeth, and huge bulging eyes. It also had hoof-shaped feet that had small claws on them. They have found 2 of these monsters, one in 1953 and another one a year later in 1954. Many believe that it might be some undiscovered type of anglerfish, while others think it may be an alien that died because of an inability to get water. The specimen found in 1954 looked very similar to the first one, but was much larger, measuring 120 centimeters long and weighing over 11 kilograms. After studies were conducted on the carcass, there was still no explanation as to what this creature might be. The most likely explanation is that it is some sort of frogfish or maybe even a monkfish, but that remains unconfirmed. Number 2, the Lariosauro. Lake Como is one of the deepest lakes in Europe, and it's said to be the home of the legendary Lariosauro. On the 8th of November 1946, 2 hunters claimed that they found a monster with harsh red-colored scales that was over 12 meters long. The hunters fired their rifles at this creature, but it quickly escaped, swimming into the center of the lake, the Lariosauro, the same name used to describe a prehistoric reptile whose fossil was found by the same lake a century earlier. Sightings since that discovery have led to stories that this creature is still alive inside of the lake. The last sighting was from 2003, where a 12-meter-long giant eel was seen swimming in nearby Lecco. Number 1. The Loch Ness Monster. The most famous unknown water creature in the world is said to reside in the Loch Ness in the Highlands of Scotland. The Loch Ness Monster, more affectionately known as Nessie, was first seen by a monk who claimed to have witnessed a giant creature in the 7th century. The first photograph of the monster was taken in 1933. However, the existence of Nessie is still a subject of heated debate. Said to closely resemble sightings of other lake monsters in Scotland, Nessie is large with a long neck and humps that protrude out of the water as it swims. After the 1933 photograph was taken, Nessie became the subject of worldwide interest. In 1980, a Swedish author stated that he believes that the Loch Ness Monster is closely associated with legends of the Kelpie. Although many people have claimed to see Nessie, there is no explanation about what the creature in the Loch Ness really might be. Either way, that's one lake we would not want to swim in anytime soon. Thank you for watching Down the Rabbit Hole. To find out about the latest crazy, mysterious, or fascinating content, hit the subscribe button below.